latitude, longitude set up for Richmond, Virginia. Roger that, latitude, longitude set up for Richmond, Virginia. Navs. Starting engines. Engine fuel system selectors as required. GPS program signal switches out. GPS target both switches are off. Alright boys, let's rock and roll. Okay guys, we're playing 48 of the world's best anglers up here competing in the FLW championship. Roger that.
Woo! Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
There's $500,000 on the line. Yeah, roger that. 500,000. Okay guys, we're a couple of clicks out. We're approaching Richmond Convention Center. How about letting check? Roger, before lane check. Tail wheel switches on. Parking brake is released. Crew passengers equipment secure in the back. They all secure in the rear. Yeah, roger that.
Ladies and gentlemen, here they come, the top 12 anglers in the world, vying for a shot at $500,000. They are accompanied by the Virginia Army National Guard. Let them hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and remove your caps as our national anthem will be sung this evening by CMA Award nominee and RCA Gold recording artist, Andy Griggs.
Well, oh, say, can you see? Well, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars, well, through the perilous fight, are the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, it gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Well, oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Andy Griggs and the Color Guard, and hello, America, and welcome to Richmond, Virginia, and the 2003 FLW Tour Championship. I'm Carlton Wing.
I'm Taylor Carr.
And I'm Charlie Evans. This championship presented by Castrol.
I tell you what, this road to Richmond began in our first event in January at Lake Okeechobee. We have made stops all along this country, and we are here in Richmond right now for this exciting championship.
And Charlie, what an incredible history of fishing this city and this area has.
Absolutely, a lot of championship events held right here, Bassmasters Classic, but this is the richest of them all. $1.5 million in cash, $500,000 to the winner. One of these 12 is going to get it. Every angler in America wish they were sitting around this stage right now.
Well, I tell you what, right here, everybody in this arena and everybody at home on their TV, you are about to witness bass fishing history. Do not go away. When we come back on FLW Outdoors, we will show you all of the exciting action coming to you from the James River. back to Richmond, Virginia in the 2003 FLW Tour Championship. This is the end of the run on a thrilling 2003 season, and this is one of the most unique events in all of professional fishing on a variety of levels. Let's talk about the first one, money.
$1.5 million is the purse, $500,000 to the winner. That's the biggest championship payday in pro fishing history, Charlie.
It'll certainly make a difference in this entire sport for years to come. Another thing that was different is the format of this championship. The bracket style, NCAA type, they call it, all kinds of work, head on head. We had great competition. I'll tell you what, everybody that got here survived 2 rounds of competition just to get here, start back at 0. The most weight today will take home the $500,000.
And here's one other thing that all of these anglers survived, and this was something unique about this event, tidal water. A lot of these anglers had never faced it before. Some thought they had, but they'd never seen it like they'd seen it this week on the James River.
Record high tides, different weather almost every day, different tide conditions. Today was truly the worst high tide of the entire week. Everybody here had to adapt. We'll see who adapted the best.
We had rain, we had wind, we had it all. Let's talk about now how they got here. We started with 48 pros. They went head-to-head down to 24, now down to the 12 that you see on stage. But days 1 and 2 were critical. Here's a look back at days 1 and 2 at the FLW Championship.
I'm excited now. We're fishing for $500,000. Woo!
FLW Championship Round 1.
It's minutes before the start of the biggest cash bonanza in pro fishing history, and the anglers are anxious. Yes, because of the money and prestige at stake, but mainly because the James River is high and they all want it to be low. Their consensus, that timing would be everything.
You know, in this James River, it's going to take a guy to get in the right area in that right little window of time.
That window might last an hour or two, but maybe just 45 minutes or so. Rick Klum was throwing a crankbait in cypress trees at the mouth of Ward's Creek, and his competition, John Cruz, had a crankbait and a ringworm tied on. They were both struggling, but talk about a compelling matchup. Klum's 57 and the winner of nearly everything in the sport, and Cruz is 25 and the event's only Virginia pro. But after day 1 and a single fish each, the youngster led by 8 ounces.
I know that he's a crankbait fisherman, and on this river I love to throw a little small crankbait, and that's really, you know, what's going to do well here once the conditions get back to normal.
And that was the tone of the day, low weights and frustration.
I'm telling you, I've been here for 10 days practicing, and I thought I could go out there and catch me some fish, and I fished all day as hard as I could fish, and I never had a bite.
Some other notable pros struggled too. Angler of the Year and Evinrude pro Dan Moorhead trailed Kellogg's pro Alvin Shaw by more than 7 pounds. Randy Blockett had more than 5 pounds to make up on fellow Fuji pro Wesley Strader, and Chevy pro Kevin Van Dam was almost 6 pounds behind Yamaha pro Terry Bolton. The best catch of the day was from Ranger pro Rob Kilby, 11 pounds, 12 ounces. Bill Chapman and Yamaha pro Greg Hackney had the 5th and 6th best weights, but paired against each other, only one could advance. So what were the anglers talking about? All that water.
Any wind out of the north is going to prevent the tide from going out, and if the tide doesn't go out, I bite. History.
Anglers trailing in their head-to-head matchups knew exactly where they stood. Dion Hibden, 10 ounces behind John Sappington. Scott Martin, 214 back of Dave Lefebvre. And Kevin Van Dam knew he had to make up almost 6 pounds on Terry Bolton. Anything less than that $500,000 payday fades away. On the water, Kellogg's pro Alvin Shaw continued to fish well, on his way to pulling off the tournament's biggest upset of top-seeded Dan Moorhead. Dion Hibden couldn't find his bite, losing to Snickers pro John Sappington and losing his shot at that record payday.
I didn't have any fun today. I'm sorry. I'd like to lie and say that it was a great day on the water, but no, it wasn't.
In other matchups of note, Kellogg's pro Clark Wendlandt disposed of Stanley pro David Walker. Paul Elias came from behind to beat Chip Harrison. Virginia's John Cruz held on to beat Rick Clunt. Harmon Davis was almost 5 pounds better than Aaron Martins. Rob Kilby went on to beat Tim Carroll. Wesley Strader had almost 20 pounds in beating Randy Blockett. Greg Hackney won that shootout with Bill Chapman, and Kevin Van Dam made the tournament's biggest comeback, coming from over 5 pounds back to beat Terry Bolton by 4 pounds. 24 of the world's best anglers remain, and they'll go head-to-head one more time to take us down to our 12 finalists.
The thrilling preliminary round was tough. The semifinal round even tougher still. A look back at the exciting Day 3 when FLW Outdoors returns. FLW Outdoors is brought to you by Walmart. Always low prices, always. By Weed Eater. Yards ahead, season after season. By Stanley. Make something great. And by Faded Glory. Welcome back to the 2003 FLW Tour Championship, coming to you from Richmond, Virginia on the James River. Our 12 finalists surround the stage here today, but a very talented group of pros came here for this tournament, and not everybody made the final round. Some good talent missed out in the semifinal round. Taylor Carr is with one of them right now. Taylor?
Yeah, Carlton, you talk about talented. Clark Wendlandt is a 2-time FLW Angler of the Year. He's a Kellogg's pro, and you went head-to-head with Kevin Van Dam. You told me the only person more competitive than you is probably him.
Yeah, he's probably the most competitive person out there. But you know, if you want to win the tournament, you got to beat the best. And you know, that's just the way the brackets worked out. It didn't work out for me in this one, but maybe next year.
All right, Clark, explain why this river can be so tough to fish.
Well, you know, you're dealing with tides, and the water's high. We've had higher tides than normal. So what's happening is the fish are in different places at different times. We practiced with a lot lower tides. They ended up higher. So really the guys that make the best adjustments are going to win the tournament.
All right, take a guess here. Among these 12 guys, who do you think's going to win?
Ooh, that's tough. You know, before the tournament started, I picked Greg Hackney to win the tournament, and I'm going to go ahead and stick with him up till now.
All right, Clark says Greg Hackney. Carlton, back to you.
All right, a good prediction. Greg Hackney, one of the top weights through the first 3 days of this tournament. We began this tournament with a field of 48 finalists. They weeded themselves down to these final 12 that surround the stage now. They made what we call the Poland cut. Let's meet our finalists right now. Our first finalist knows how to win a few $100,000 at one tournament. He won $700,000 at the M1 last year, and this year defeated Jim Moyna and Rick Lilligard to get to today's final round. From Manteo, North Carolina, Castro Pro David Dudley. Our next finalist overcame a 4-pound deficit on day 1 to cruise past Mike Sermon into the semifinal round and ease past Wesley Burnett to earn a shot at today's finals. From Canton, Georgia, Jimmy Millsaps. Our next finalist is one of the biggest names in bass fishing. He overcame a 5-pound, 12-ounce deficit on day 1 to win the round over Terry Bolton, and then beat Kellogg's pro Clark Wendlandt to emerge from one of the toughest brackets of the tournament. From Kalamazoo, Michigan, Kevin Van Dam. Our next finalist is in his second FLW championship in his second year on the FLW Tour. He beat 2 tough young anglers in Aaron Martins and Keith Williams to earn a shot at today's big payday. From Marlow, Oklahoma, Harmon Davis. Our next finalist earned the second best stringer of day 2 and overcame Matt Herron and 2-time world champion George Cochran in the first 2 rounds. From Waynetown, Indiana, Shad Skank. Our next finalist is in his first FLW Tour Championship. He moved past Kelly Jordan in the first round and Todd Otten in the second. From Granbury, Texas, Cody Bird. Our next finalist already upset the top seed in this tournament and has turned in the 3rd best total weight of the first 3 days. He beat Angler of the Year Dan Moorhead and Dave Lefevre on his way to the finals. From State Road, North Carolina, Alvin Shaw. Our next finalist knows the James River well. Getting to today's final was not easy. He had to beat one of the best in the business in Rick Clunn and then held off Mike Hawks. The only Virginian in the field, from Jetersville, Virginia, John Cruz. Our next finalist is a two-time world champion and one of the legends in the game. He beat Chris Elliott and the defending FLW Tour champion John Sappington on his way to another final round. From Bee Branch, Arkansas, Larry Nixon. Our next finalist has caught more total weight than anyone in this tournament with a 3-day total of 32 pounds, 7 ounces. He beat Bill Chapman and Tommy Biffle on his way to today's final. From Gonzales, Louisiana, Greg Hackney. After the best stringer of the first day, our next finalist rode that momentum all the way to the top 12. He knocked off Rookie of the Year Tim Carroll and former world champion Stanley Mitchell this week. From Hot Springs, Arkansas, Rob Kilby. Our final finalist overcame a 12-ounce performance on day one to win the first round over Chip Harrison and then beat Wesley Strader in the semifinals. From Pachuta, Mississippi, Paul Elias. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your 12 finalists for the 2003 FLW Tour Championship. When we come back on FLW Outdoors, we'll see how these finalists got to where they are and see some of the amazing fish from the James River. It's all coming up next on FLW Outdoors.
FLW Championship Round 2.
Welcome back to FLW Outdoors and the $1.5 million FLW Championship on the James River in Richmond, Virginia. That's Chevy Pro Kevin Van Dam, who made a great comeback yesterday to make it to round 2. He's fishing underneath the Highway 10 bridge at the mouth of the Appomattox River, and the tide is going out now. He is paired against Clark Wendlandt. Clark had to run farther, and Carlton Wing is with Wendlandt now.
We're about 55 miles up the Chickahominy River. This is Clark Wendlandt, and this is one of the dream matchups of this tournament. A two-time Angler of the Year against another Angler of the Year. Clark going head-to-head against Kevin Van Dam today. What's that like for you here in this semifinal round?
Well, I tell you what, Kevin's one of the best fishermen in the world, and you know, it's one of those things you kind of got to put out of your mind because you got to catch fish no matter what. And you know, I didn't have a great day yesterday. I'm going to change up just a little bit and, you know, see if something great will happen today.
Patty and the girls are here with you. Do they have any advice or comments for Dad today?
Catch some fish. A lot of prayers were said for me this morning, so, you know, I need all of that I can get.
We're about a half mile up the Appomattox River with Kevin Van Dam. Kevin, you're throwing a spinnerbait now. This is your style of fishing.
Yeah, I really like this place because you can really run around and hit a lot of spots, and you know, with the tide moving, there's always a good spinnerbait bite. You know, if the tide's moving, the bait fish are active, and the spinnerbait just really does a good job. So I've been catching a lot of my fish on a spinnerbait and a little crankbait, but also a little bit on plastics too. You just have to change it up. You know, these fish see a lot of baits, so I'm throwing the whole kitchen sink at every good spot. Here the water's good and clear still. The tide's not running too hard. We're going to have real strong wind today, so I know the tide's going to come back in real hard. So I would like to, you know, fish the last 2 hours of the outgoing tide and have it fall like it normally does.
You figure Clark will catch him, so you better catch him today too.
I'm planning on catching him. You know, I'm going to do my best, but you know, the first day I had a real tough day. Yesterday was a lot better. Well, hopefully we can come up with something.
And it might take something special to emerge from what's being called the bracket of doom. Van Dam and Wendlandt got to round 2 by knocking off David Walker and Terry Bolton. Over to Greg Hackney, who along with Wendlandt and Stanley Mitchell were the only anglers who had made the long run up the Chickahominy.
Louisiana's Greg Hackney has just completed the 60-mile run. We are within eyesight of the Chickahominy Dam. Greg, it's raining. We got a little bit of a wind, and you say that you love these conditions.
Yeah, I really do. I don't know, it always seems like fish normally bite a little better in bad conditions than they do when it's real nice and pretty. Really, all that I've done this morning is I've changed. I've been catching most of all my fish flipping, but I caught them in practice during this weather, throwing a buzzbait and a spinnerbait, so I'm hoping this morning they'll get back on that deal.
You can hear that buzzbait from all the way across the river.
Right. I'm hoping they can hear it too.
Greg, being from Louisiana, you fished the Gulf Coast and those tidal waters. Has that prepared you for what you faced here on the James River?
No, it hasn't. I just thought I could fish tidal water before I came here. This has been a totally different ball game. I've never been to a place where every 6 hours the water's going to go up or down. You know, in a 24-hour period at home, sometimes if the wind blows right, the tide will actually never move. Here, it moves regardless. It either just gets higher or lower, depending on the wind. But it still moves every 6 hours.
In the Energizer boat, it's Yamaha Pro John Cruz at Jetersville, Virginia, the only Virginian in this event. And yesterday, John, you beat one of the legends in this sport, Rick Clunn. Not fishing great, though, but still you advanced to the second round.
Exactly. Under adverse conditions, it's kind of survival of the fittest, and I just happened to get a few more bites and get past Rick Clunn. It felt good.
You like your chances?
Not right now, but we don't have good water yet. We may not have good water all day, but I caught more fish around low tide than I did, you know. I had one fish at this time yesterday, so.
When will be your ideal water?
Net. Stay on now. Come on, fish. Yeah. Well, there's a start there, folks. Looks great to me.
What were you doing there, John?
Talking. I was talking and not moving my bait. Maybe that was the key. There he is.
Cruz goes on to catch 9-8 and win his matchup with Hawks to move on to the finals. Van Dam wins 2, catching 6-12 to Wendlich's 2-3. Hackney ends up needing almost all his 14 pounds and beats Tommy Biffle by just over a pound. Joining them in the finals, Alvin Shaw, Larry Nixon, Cody Bird, Harmon Davis, David Dudley, Jimmy Millsaps, Shad Skank, Rob Kilby, and Paul Elias. When we come back, the 12 finalists put it all on the line for $500,000.
FLW Outdoors is brought to you by Frito-Lay, food for the fun of it. By Field & Stream, the soul of the American outdoors. By Everstart Batteries, more power for your money. And by Pedigree, healthy, happy dog for life.
And welcome back to a packed house in Richmond in the $1.5 million FLW Championship. Yamaha Team Pro Dave Lefebvre joins me. Dave, you started fishing and came up through the ranks in the FLW. You started at the BFL level.
Yeah, you know, that's what I love about FLW Outdoors. I mean, it gives someone a chance to just get so big so fast. I mean, I started BFL fishing 2 years ago, qualified for EverStart. Fished EverStart, qualified for FLW, and in 2 years I'm fishing for $500,000.
I got to get your prediction too. Clark said Greg Hackney. Who does Dave Lefebvre think?
Well, I got a couple of good friends up there, but I'm going to have to go with John Cruz. He's a really good friend of mine and a fellow Yamaha Konami pro, and I hope he takes it home.
Dave Lefebvre. Carlton, back to you.
It sounds like Dave might be running for office here in Virginia very soon. A very wise political choice there for Dave Lefebvre. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to begin our shootout style weigh-in. Let's tell you how it works. Angler number 1 will be David Dudley. David will bring up one fish. He will set the mark to beat. And every succeeding angler must be able to take the lead or they are out of the game. Are you ready to get started? Let the weigh-in begin. Castrol Pro David Dudley started off with the first fish, and the next 5 pros followed with just enough to take the lead. Jimmy Millsaps, Kevin Van Dam, Harmon Davis, Shad Skank, and Cody Bird. When the leading weight hit 3 pounds 15 ounces, the next 4 pros would drop out of the race. Kellogg's Pro Alvin Shaw was the first to fall.
His first fish weighs in at 1 pound 6 ounces. We need more.
That's it, Charlie.
No more for Alvin Shaw. Your worst day yet.
North Carolina's Alvin Shaw is a veteran of several FLW Tour championships. He finished 11th last year. And Alvin, talk a little bit about what it's like to fish on the final day of a big money championship.
Well, what I said this morning, it just don't get no better than this. When you can get to this level and be able to compete against the guys we're fishing against, and you know, the competition aspect of it is really what you're out here for, but you know, the money would be nice.
Local favorite John Cruz brought up a nice fish, but it was his only fish, and ended the Virginians tournament with an 8th place finish.
I fished as hard as I possibly could, and we didn't come up with a whole lot. It took the last minute to catch my little guy that I caught. I'm happy to have him. Yes. But it was just another tough day on the James River.
All right, 2 anglers down, 10 anglers remain. Let's get to one of the legends. Larry Nixon coming up next from Bee Branch, Arkansas. Comes in. Uh-oh, he's not bringing anything with him.
Larry, you forgot something there.
Yeah, the fish ignored me today. Well, I pretty much changed my whole game plan today because, you know, my best stringer so far has been 8-11, and there's going to be somebody catch more than 8-11, and I just can't see fishing, trying to win first place in this event on the fish that I've been catching so far. So I'm going to try to catch some bigger fish today and just see what happens.
Greg Hackney had as much momentum as anyone in the final round, but his area dried up completely with no fish on the final day.
A frog on the lily pads in the Chickahominy. One of the many tactics Hackney tried without success. The Yamaha Pro finished 12th and takes home $18,000.
Even though you don't win this championship and the $500,000, you have had a tremendous year.
I took out some really good fishermen, and I'm going to hold my head up.
You got to hold it up, and we'll see him again next year. Let's give a good round of applause. Greg Hackney.
Arkansas's Rob Kilby then took the lead with 4 pounds even. A mark Paul Elias was unable to reach.
That's it. 1 fish for Paul Elias. Weighs in at 15 ounces. And I got to tell you, Paul, we started day 1 with a 12-ouncer. We went to day 4 and with a 15-ouncer. In between, you were awesome.
Trying to win 500 grand, got one little old 12, 13-inch fish. I gotta make a change and get it going.
Elias never could, and with 1 fish, he ended up 10th.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed round 1. Around the stage here, 5 finalists are out. That means 7 remain. In the quest for the title, we will inch ever closer toward crowning a champion of the 2003 Walmart FLW Tour when we come back on FLW Outdoors.
And we just witnessed one of the unique aspects of pro fishing. You saw John Cruz and Larry Nixon weigh out. You know, Larry Nixon fished his first pro tournament in 1977, and that was the year before John Cruz was born. These are 2 of our top competitors. You know, for pro fishermen fishing for $500,000, weather is always a factor. 7 anglers remain, and they had some high water to deal with, not only caused by 2 inches of rain in the last day, but also offshore winds. Many of the anglers had to decide not just where to run, but when to run there. Even this morning, some of them changed their plans completely. That's a tough decision to make with $500,000 on the line. Stay tuned, more to come from Richmond and the FLW Championship.
Welcome back to the 2003 FLW Tour Championship, coming to you from Richmond, Virginia. We have a leader. It's Hot Springs, Arkansas's Rob Kilby out in first place, followed by Cody Bird, Shad Skank, Harmon Davis, Kevin Van Dam, and Jimmy Millsaps. That's your top 6. Your next 6 starts out with John Cruz, David Dudley, Alvin Shaw, Paul Elias, Larry Nixon, and Greg Hackney. When we return to the weigh-in stage, David Dudley returned to the top of the leaderboard and knocked out Georgia's Jimmy Millsaps, who was the 6th angler to fall out of contention.
Well, I was on about 6 or 7 pounds a day, and I thought it would take about 10 pounds, so I caught 2 fish, and then I went looking for some big fish, and they're pretty hard to find.
Millsaps caught his best fish throwing a buzzbait around lily pads. His 7th place finish was worth $26,000, his second biggest payday as an FLW pro.
One of the biggest names in the sport was next to exit.
After his remarkable first-round comeback, Chevy pro Kevin Van Dam had high hopes for his first FLW win. But all his searching produced only 2 fish and a 6th place finish worth $28,000.
I knew I needed a good string after what these guys put up yesterday, and I went for it, and now it seems like a lot of the other guys did the same thing. You know, we're all swinging for the fence, and a lot of us flied out.
The Tiger Woods of bass fishing, Chevy pro Kevin Van Dam. Let's give him a great round of applause.
Oklahoman Harmon Davis then took the lead and raised the bar to 5 pounds 3 ounces. Harmon is back on top. He has weighed in 3 fish. Let's bring up Shad Skank. Shad trails our leader Harmon Davis by 1 pound and 10 ounces, and Shad is empty-handed.
Our 7-Up pro ran out today. You've been weighing in limits every day.
I could catch about 5 pounds a day if I wanted to, but I really, like Kevin said, swung for the fence today, and that's really what I needed to do. But great to be involved with FLW Outdoors and the Jacobs Cup. I mean, a remarkable tournament that really sets history for the sport of bass fishing, and to drive a 7-Up Ranger boat all year long. I mean, it's just a lot of fun, Charlie.
Indiana's Shad Skank is the 7-Up pro who has won up to everybody on his way to the final round. Shad, talk a little bit about now this format changes. You're not 1 against 1, you're 1 against another 11 finalists and a talented group at that.
It's some of the best fishermen in the country, and I'm privileged to be, you know, amongst people like Greg Hackney and Paul Elias, Larry Nixon, you know, Kevin Van Dam, one of the best in the world. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great challenge, and since we're going to a different format today, that's why I've changed up and I'm going to some different techniques, fishing in areas where bigger fish live and fishing lures like a jig that bigger fish bite.
We're down to our final 4 now. Let's bring up Cody Bird from Granbury, Texas. Cody brought up 2 fish in the first round. He trails our leader by 1 pound and 4 ounces, and he's not coming up with a bag either.
Cody Bird of Granbury, Texas had it going early with a jig, but he only managed 2 fish. Still at just under 4 pounds, it earned Bird $35,000 and 4th place, his best FLW finish to date.
Now we begin a 3-man shootout for the title. Rob Kilby brought up a fish just shy of 2 pounds to take the leading weight up to 5 pounds 15 ounces. David Dudley followed, needing at least 1 pound and 8 ounces.
That fish weighs in at 2 pounds 7 ounces. A new leader, David Dudley.
All right. Harmon Davis now needed at least 1 pound and 12 ounces to retake the lead, and one of the largest fish of the day was more than up to the task. All right, Harmon Davis with a total weight of 9 pounds and 4 ounces is our leader. We go back to Rob Kilby, who has weighed in 3 fish, and with his next fish must bring up 3 pounds and 5 ounces, and he doesn't have it. Rob is out.
But one that got away early in the day could have made a huge difference. Kilby finished only 3.5 pounds out of first, and for a long time he'll wonder what was at the end of that line.
That was a big one too.
Ladies and gentlemen, our champion of the 2003 FLW Tour Championship will be either Harmon Davis or David Dudley. Let me tell you that just 2 pounds and 6 ounces separate those 2 remaining finalists. We will crown a winner when we come back on FLW Outdoors.
All right, you know, David Dudley has a local connection. He actually grew up in Lynchburg and moved to North Carolina a few years ago. And David knows about big money. Last year at the Ranger Boats M1, he won $700,000 on the Mobile Delta. Now, by contrast, Harmon Davis is fishing his 2nd year, and this event is his first top 10. So it's going to be one of 2 guys, Davis or Dudley. Dudley knows about raising big checks. Harmon Davis may be about to find out. And we'll find out when we come back to Richmond for the FLW Championship.
FLW Outdoors is brought to you by Minn Kota, anywhere, anytime. By Eagle Electronics, successful fishing made simple. By Castrol, the only motor oil that provides maximum protection. Castrol GTX, drive hard. And by Walmart, always low prices, always. Welcome back to the 2003 FLW Tour Championship. We are in the final moments. Only 2 anglers remain in the quest for the $500,000 first place prize. And there they are on your leaderboard. Harmon Davis with 9 pounds and 4 ounces, and David Dudley is the only angler left who can possibly catch Harmon. Taylor Carr is out in the audience, and he is with a very nervous and anxious member of that audience. Taylor?
Yeah, she seems pretty calm, Carlton. This is Angela Dudley and Mason Davis Dudley, a month and a half old, wife and son of David Dudley. Now, Angela, you talked to David this morning before he started fishing. What was his mood?
He seemed pretty calm. He didn't know if he was going to win or not, but he's going to do his best.
He's always pretty even-tempered before he starts fishing, isn't he?
Yes.
He has won a big check before, but this $500,000, I gather, would still be very welcome.
Yeah, it'd get us out of debt.
All right, take a look at his face right now. Is that the face of a man who's about to win a $500,000?
I don't know, but he came in second for Angler of the Year, and he can only do, the worst he can do is second for championship, so we got a lot to be thankful for already.
The Dudley cheering section is cheering strong, Carlton.
All right. Well, our leader right now is Harmon Davis out of Marlow, Oklahoma. He leads David Dudley by 2 pounds and 6 ounces, and he is with our Charlie Evans right now.
How are the nerves going right now?
Well, Charlie, I hadn't been nervous until right now.
A little nervous right now?
Just got really nervous.
You're down between you and David Dudley. One of you is going to win a $500,000. I got to tell you, it's going to be exciting, too.
Oh, it's very exciting. I mean, you look around at these 12 guys, I mean, they're guys, I mean, Kevin, guys that I idolize, and to be sitting here with me and David, I mean, it's just incredible. But I want to say hi to my mom and my dad and my wife and my 2 little boys. They're at Walmart in Duncan, Oklahoma. And I'll be home soon.
Watching him on Walmart Television Network live. We're streamed out live to Walmart's nationwide. So they're there in the store watching you.
As far as I know, they're there. What I'm doing this morning is just trying to cover a lot of water because with the water high, I don't have a very good bite going. So we're looking for one good bite today, or this morning. There it is. Stay on, baby, stay on. Start. You can catch the limit flipping, but you're not going to win with it, not with what I've caught. When the water is down like it should be normally, these fish get out on the very ends of the laydowns, and the current pulls when the tide switches, it kind of flushes all the bait fish right back out to the ends of the laydown so you can catch them. But when it's this high, a lot of the laydowns that I was planning on fishing this week that I taught them in practice on, you can't even see them. There he is. Stay on, baby, stay on. Oh, he's got me hung up. Stay on, please. Can't do that kind of stuff and win.
He doesn't seem too nervous right now. How's your man, Carlton Wing?
All right. Right now it looks like he's got nerves of steel. He's been in a similar situation before at the M1 last year. This is David Dudley, who has 2 pounds and 6 ounces to make up. David, you've hoisted a big check before. $500,000 is still $500,000.
Yes, sir. That sure is a lot of money to be fishing for. And again, I want to recap again, thank FLW for giving us anglers a chance to make a living at what we do. And man, just can't say enough.
We're at the mouth of the Appomattox, and this is Castrol Pro David Dudley. He has 4 fish in the boat, but he's broken off a couple. David, you doing okay?
I'm trying to keep my composure. It's getting close to 9 o'clock. I got 4 in the boat. I got 2 pretty good ones. I haven't broken a fish off all year long, and here we're at the Jacobs Cup with $500,000 on the line, and I've broken off 2 this morning. I don't have a clue why. I'm trying to keep my composure the best I can. You got to deal with stuff like that and go on, but that's easier said than done. I tell you that right now. When you got that much money on the line, try to keep your composure. It's easier said than done, but I mean, I feel good. Good about my start so far, but I'd feel a lot better if I would have got them other ones in the boat.
Go!
got a little upset right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was upset, but I was more upset at myself. But the more I got to thinking about it, knowing when God's in control, He don't make mistakes. And by Him allowing that to happen, I got to accept it and know that He doesn't make mistakes. I'm learning every day, and even with this tournament, I'm learning to deal with pressures a lot more.
All right, we're going to learn right now who is the champion of this 2003 FLW Tour Championship. David Dudley's going to go to his live well and bring out his fish. We're going to see if David can make up 2 pounds and 6 ounces and take the lead. If he is able to do so, we will go to Harmon Davis and see if Harmon Davis can retake the lead. Here we go. David Dudley bringing up his 5th and final fish, trailing by 2.6, which is our magic number.
2 pounds, 6 ounces will put our Castro Pro David Dudley into the lead. It's going to be close.
It's going to be within ounces.
He says it's going to be within ounces. Let's watch it close. This fish weighs in at 2 pounds, 9 ounces, 2.9, a new leader.
All right. David, stay with us right here. David is now our leader. He leads by 4 ounces, folks. 4 ounces separates David Dudley from Harmon Davis, and we have a champion. David Dudley, your 2003 FLW Tour champion. Here is your check, $500,000 richer. Here we go. Let's hear it for your 2003 FLW Tour champion, Castro Pro David Dudley. David, it's been a thrill ride. I know you want to hang on to that check, but we have one more thrilling presentation for you. Let me take the check and bring to you now the Walmart Vice President, Bill Kerr, with a very special trophy presentation.
David,
come on back here.
David, on behalf of all the great Walmart associates throughout the world and our wonderful FLW sponsors, it's my honor to present to you as the winner of the 2003 Walmart FLW Tour Championship. Congratulations.
David, let me get in right here. Let me get a comment from you. A little over a year ago, I said, David Dudley, you are the M1 champion. How does that feel? David Dudley, you're the 2003 FLW Tour champion. How does that feel?
It feels great. Man, I want to just thank the Lord. It's amazing when you put your trust in Him what happens.
While David gets his composure, let me turn around here. This has got to be a thrill ride for you. What an incredible week this has been for your husband.
Oh, yeah. An incredible year.
We brought in a new Dudley this year, and it looks like baby's going to get a new pair of shoes.
Oh, yeah. Now I won't get in trouble for all my shopping this week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take one final look at our top 12 here. Our final 12. In first place, David Dudley, followed by Harmon Davis, Rob Kilby, Cody Bird, Shad Skank, Kevin Van Dam, Jimmy Millsaps, John Cruz, Alvin Shaw, Paul Elias, Larry Nixon, and Greg Hackney. Once again, you have seen the best in professional fishing right here on FLW Outdoors. Don't forget to tune in next week when we will recap this thrilling event with our own Larry Nixon, who will visit with our champion and 2 other finalists. It's all coming up next week on FLW Outdoors.